Inspire with Nendrix, the foundation.
Hello, Embracing Arms community. This is Dr. Danielle Hairston Green with Your Best Life, and I'm coming back to you with another 5-minute quickie. I hope everything's been going well for you and that you're getting geared up for this holiday season, and really trying to make time for yourself. We are coming into a new year, and we're hoping that things will look different in 2022, but chances are we may be facing the same trials and tribulations related to COVID. But we want to remind our Embracing Arms community to take care of themselves in the midst of it all. But I wanted to share something with you. I did a thing the other day where I competed in this story slam, and it was amazing because I got to, before it was time for me to compete, listen to all other amazing stories of folks just sharing their journey. These were true stories, and they had a very limited time to tell these amazing stories, and but they were just wonderful. What made it even more wonderful is that people were walking into their fear. You know, many of those that stood on the stage to tell their story had never done that before. And they were telling stories from the deepest part of them, and really sharing some fun experiences. Some were sharing some really tragic experiences. But they all were brave, and they walked into their fears to share those stories. I, have a beautiful relationship with storytelling because I grew up with that with my mother. She always found a way to weave her experience into this amazing story. And at first, when I was younger, I thought that was just super annoying because my mother would tell all of these stories to people, and I would just look at her like, I don't know if they want to hear this story, Mom, because I heard it so many times, right? But for those people who she was sharing the story with, it was always the first time that they heard it. And so they were completely mesmerized by the way she weaved lessons into her story and her humor. And over time, I think I picked up on some of that. And so I have this amazing and this beautiful relationship with storytelling, and I recognize how powerful it can be. And I also recognize how vulnerable you have to be in order to be in front of people and tell stories from the deepest part of you. And so I just come to you today to encourage you to share your stories. Walk into your fear and share your stories. We all know that not everyone deserves to hear some of the deepest stories that you have in your life, but find spaces and places where you can actually share your story, because I think it's therapy. I think it's really an amazing way to go through therapy and healing. But the other thing that I want to encourage you to do is that when you begin to exploring storytelling, as one of my storytelling teacher has shared with me, tell your stories from your scars and not your wounds. I think that makes it easier for you to tell the story and capture your audience and keep you settled and focused along the way. For a very long time, I was telling my stories from my wounds, and so they weren't completely healed. And so the impact was felt differently, and it was even harder for people to engage in a way that I hoped they would, because they were left feeling so in a space where they couldn't help. Right? So I'm telling this story. I'm telling this story from my wounds, and I'm crying, right? Because I'm at a place in this story where it's just like super impactful, and tears are coming to my eyes, and I'm trying to gather myself. And sometimes that's the best stories, right? But oftentimes it makes it difficult for the audience because they feel completely helpless. They don't know how to help you through to the next part of your story. And so learning to tell your stories from your scars and not your wounds has been the most powerful lesson for me, and it's helped me to rethink my storytelling, the way I deliver them, and just the process of doing it is healing for me. So walk into your fears, tell your story, and I'm just ever so grateful to be around people who are willing to share their journeys from the very deepest part of them. So enjoy your holiday, and until next time, go out in the community and embrace someone. They're waiting for you, and continue to live your absolute best life.
Sickening and living in house resemblance, not to mention the media's effort to keep us in the most simplistic state of mind. Lowest age bracket committing the highest rate of crime. People dying way before they hit their age of prime, thinking success only happens if they shoot hoops